It's Friday, February 12. This is the news on PBCJ. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. The St. Joseph's Hospital in Kingston will have an additional 57 beds as of next week. This as the Health Ministry has constructed a new ward at the facility. Minister of Health and Wellness Dr. Christopher Tufton toured the hospital along with Member of Parliament for South East St. Andrew Julian Robinson and representatives of the South East Regional Health Authority on Thursday. St. Joseph's Hospital has been designated as a coronavirus quarantine facility. Jamaica has been recording over 100 new COVID-19 cases daily in recent weeks. Minister of Health and Wellness Dr. Christopher Tufton says the situation is worrying.
I am at the stage, Minister, where I have never been more concerned about our capacity to respond. At 88%, and with the trend going where it is, the truth is we would become overwhelmed in a relatively short space of time if we don't cut back on the hospitalization.
Dr. Tufton says even with the introduction of COVID-19 vaccines, the country cannot afford to become complacent. While touring the facilities of the St. Joseph's Hospital, it was explained that the new ward will house 36 new beds, doctors' offices, a pantry, nurse station and relative equipment for COVID-19 patients. At least 12 nurses, along with a team of doctors and other hospital staff, will be employed or redeployed to the site.
The clinical team have always been able to rise to the occasion despite the fatigue and the stresses that they face. They are not unaccustomed to working around the clock. In a sense, it's something that we celebrate even though it's not desirable. So I'm sure once we equip the facility, we'll find a way to occupy it with the clinical team while they're the team that is responsible for recruitment look about trying to get additional. Remember last year we did a number of things. We added 121 doctors. These were the recent graduates. We took on all of them. I don't know where they are deployed now, but it may mean some redeployment. We have some nurses that are about to be registered. The nursing council will have to fast track that. These are trainees, these are graduates to be registered. We have some additional Cuban nurses, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
Right, so I think I have it here. And so I think we will be in a position to further complement what we have based on the new people coming on board and the new ones that we have brought on board over the past number of months.
During the tour, the visitors were also informed that an additional 21 beds will be available in another area of the compound.
Hospital beds are reserved for people who, by a draw of the luck or luck of the draw, they happen to get COVID. Many people get COVID unsuspectingly, unknowingly, don't understand how them touch a surface. We must be there for them. But if you go out and mingle irresponsibly without the mask and so on, we still have to be here for you, but you really make the job much more harder. And frankly speaking, put yourself at your lives in jeopardy.
Additional bed spaces have also been made available at the Spanish Town Hospital.
Spanish Town presently has a serious issue with overcrowding, and a large number of the COVID cases are at Spanish Town. So it's easier to put them there than to actually be moving them in terms of transportation, logistics. If it's right there, it accommodates them.
And the bed count on that was about 40, right?
40.
Health officials have reported a cluster at the Mandeville Regional Hospital where more than 20 staff members have tested positive for COVID-19. Additionally, Southern Regional Health Authority says that the hospital's isolation ward is full. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton addressed the issue while touring the St. Joseph's Hospital on Thursday.
How we work, right, is that we don't establish infrastructure wherever there's a problem in that way. How we work, health is a network of infrastructure. You move people where the need is. Mandeville has an issue. It's not, the issue in Mandeville is not just the high occupancy level. The issue in Mandeville is that we have had a cluster of cases in the hospital involving clinicians, the nurses I think maybe a doctor or two. And I think the last number I saw was like 20 or something like that. So something happened there where we had a cluster, an outbreak. When we have these things, we plan for them. So there is a protocol. We pull back, we extract the people who are affected, we do some quick contact tracing and some deep cleaning, and then we try to resume normality as quick as possible. And based on what I've gotten from Mandeville and the region there, southern region, they are working on solving the problem.
He says staff members at hospitals, infirmaries and correctional facilities are routinely tested for COVID-19.
So depending on where the positive cases turn up at our health facilities, our team assesses it, and then we deploy the mobile units or otherwise to go into those.
Sarah, which has oversight of the facility, says in a press release that since March, 61 of the hospital's 780 staff members have contracted the virus. 27 of that number have fully recovered and are back at work. Prime Minister Andrew Holness is urging the public to adhere to the amended curfew hours and to wear masks in public spaces. The curfew was recently tightened to run from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. This as the island is currently seeing a spike in COVID-19 cases.
It was with great reluctance, I must say, with great reluctance, that we brought the curfew hours back down to 8. Because we understand the devastating impact it can have on the economy. But when we looked at the numbers in the hospitals and we weighed both risks, the bigger risk to the country is that we would not want to have people turn up at hospitals struggling to breathe, needing attention, and we don't have space for them. So that is the trade-off that you have elected this government to administer, to make. And it is not easy, but I give you my assurance that we take every decision seriously. And the way in which we have done it, it's not going to be a long term. We have done it for 2 weeks and we are watching the numbers. You play a very important role in how those numbers go down. On my way here, driving through Halfway Tree, I deliberately looked out to observe whether or not persons were wearing masks. And just for the record, I came in here with my mask, I came up here with the mask, and I only took off the mask because I'm speaking. But I noticed that whilst persons had on masks, most of whom I saw were wearing masks, they had the mask under their chin. Some were only covering their nose. The appropriate way is that you have to have a proper face covering that covers your nose and mouth and properly fitted to your face.
On Thursday, the Trelawny Health Authority confirmed that the first case of COVID-19 at the Trelawny Infirmary in Falmouth has been reported. The infirmary houses some 57 residents. Chairman of the Trelawny Municipal Corporation, Councillor C. Junior Gager, says another resident who has since showed symptoms of the respiratory disease facility has been isolated. The infirmary is being deep cleansed, courtesy of a partnership of the Municipal Corporation and the Health Department. Jamaicans can expect more housing solutions this year, so says Prime Minister Andrew Holness. He gave the details on Thursday during a handover of a new housing solution to a needy mother of 2, Venicia Reed, in the community of Trenchtown, St. Andrew.
So the work has started, and you will hear more when we go to budget regarding how we are going to seek to achieve those 70,000 new housing solutions in the next 5 years. Already, we have stretched the NHT, and when we started, they may not have thought it was possible because they were doing something like 2,000 or 3,000 houses per year, if that many. Now they are doing more than 5,000 to 6,000 houses per year. So they have doubled their output. Now we are looking at doubling that output per year or more. And I know they can do it.
Valentine's Day is celebrated on February 14. This year, toss out the traditional gifts and instead give something practical, unique, and endearing during the COVID-19 pandemic, like taking an exotic culinary trail across the world without leaving the comfort of your home. We'll tell you how in this report.
Every year on February 14, the world takes a pause to celebrate love. Bouquets and poetic cards are sent. Chocolates, gift baskets, expensive tokens of love are given, and lovers slip away to exotic locations. Valentine shows are also common, with sultry crooners swaying sing-along crowds with hit after hit. 2021, however, is no typical year. Celebrating Valentine's in a time of pandemic has forced us to do things differently. A gift that is seen as even more valuable is the gift of time. This year, why not let someone else prepare the meal so you are able to spend time with your loved ones? That's the thinking of the owners of Lucky Crab Seafood.
We're very innovative in our offerings. We're unique as well. So we were the first person who started doing the seafood boil in Jamaica, and it has now opened up the market for so many more restaurants offering the same the same option. But we started it. So we started the trend.
They have created a menu that will save you time and take you on an exotic culinary journey.
We wanted to do something a little bit different. So we thought, okay, it's COVID. Not many persons are traveling right now. So why not give persons a taste from other countries, keeping in line with our seafood? So we decided to do some research into different seafood options that other countries would have. And we narrowed down on Thailand, Italy, France, Louisiana, of course, because it's famous for the seafood boil. And we also kept it in Jamaica as well. So we just decided to have persons experience other countries through our cuisine. And that's the whole concept and the idea behind it. Thai is famous for sweet chili sauce, garlic Thai sauce. So we've incorporated that again with our seafood. So we decided to do a lobster shrimp combo, which is very popular. So, I mean, lobster and shrimp is two of the most favorite seafood dishes around. And why not pair it? It's Valentine's Day, you know? So we decided to go all out. So we decided to do a sweet chili lobster and a garlic Thai shrimp. And I believe that that's actually taking the best from Thailand and we're serving it here in Jamaica. Even though we're primarily seafood, we're like, okay, maybe some persons, maybe you date or, you know, your child or somebody who is coming may not necessarily want to have seafood. So for France, we decided to go with a chicken option, which is, they're famous for the chicken cordon bleu. So that's what we decided to go with for France. So we kind of steered a little bit away from the seafood, but the appetizer would still have some sort of seafood in there, where we, I think we did the salmon cream cheese dip for the appetizer for France. Italy now is taking you on a whole different journey. So Italy, they're known for pasta. So we decided to do a scampi. So we did a lobster and shrimp scampi, and that's our Italian dish.
An all-time favorite dish in Jamaica is a wonderful serving of steamed fish. That too will be on the menu.
Majority of the time when the customers come here right now, they love the steamed fish. It's like a go-to. But you know, steamed fish is mostly for men, but even the females, when they do have it, it's really good because we found the balance throughout the years.
The meals are accompanied by exotic and delicious dessert options.
For our Thailand dessert option, it is fried banana. So we're doing fried ripe bananas and we're serving it with ice cream, topped with cornflakes, cocoa powder, cinnamon powder, all the lovely works. As I said, it's a first for me, but believe me, it's really, really good. For France, we have our chocolate eclair. For Jamaica, none other than our famous bread pudding with ice cream, served warm, of course. For Louisiana, I mean, cheesecake is famous to the US, so we decided to just go with our cookie and cream cheesecake. For our Italy option now, we're going with the tiramisu, which is always a crowd favorite and a crowd pleaser.
You can enjoy the array of dishes from across the world from the comfort of your home, giving you even more time to enjoy with your loved ones.
We are offering delivery as well on Sunday. The only issue that we're having would be our dessert options for the ice cream. But we're trying to figure something out where the dessert is concerned. But the regular menu, you are able to get deliveries.
For the news on PBCJ, I'm Carol Francis.
Friday, February 12 is celebrated as the Chinese New Year. Jamaica has a strong Chinese presence with an estimated population of 75,000 persons of Chinese descent on the island. As our motto states, out of many, one people. The Chinese presence in Jamaica has added to the nation's economy owing to their high commercial and business focus. Maxing out your credit card, not saving and cashing investments without a good reason, or even failing to make investments in your future. There are many ways that we throw our wealth away. In this expanded edition of the Business Report, host Gabriel Thompson speaks with financial coach Denise Williams on this vital topic.
In Thursday's trading session, the JSE combined index declined by 2,011 points to close at under 400,000 units. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 84 stocks, of which 34 advanced, 42 declined, and 8 traded firm. The junior market index advanced by 6 points to close at under 3,000 units. Stocks advanced for Burrito Investments Limited, Berger Pence Jamaica, and Cargo Handlers Limited. Stocks declined for 138 Student Living Jamaica, Access Financial Services Limited, and Caribbean Cement Company Limited. Trading firm were Blue Power Group, CAC 2000 9.5% preference shares, and CAC 2000 Limited. QWI Investments Limited was the volume leader with 4.2 million units, followed by Wigton Wind Farm Limited ordinary shares with 3.9 million units and Jamaican Teas Limited with 2.8 million units. Now for the foreign exchange. The US dollar on Thursday, February 11, ended trading at $150.61. The Canadian dollar sold for an average $119.51. The pound sterling traded for $206.93, and the euro ended trading at $186.41. In this week's edition of Financially Focused, financial coach Denise Williams has a few questions for you. Are you living above your means, and are you throwing your wealth away in your prime working years?
Now, I love credit cards because they give you convenience, and if managed properly, you get a 30-day float, and you get the particular rewards. Travel, when that gets back in style, grocery, gas, there's a variety of rewards, cash back that you get once you are properly managing your credit card. But if you are living above your means and you max out your credit cards, you're throwing away wealth. You're destroying wealth. It's not like, I'm sure you know it. Another area in which, during their prime working years, a lot of 18-year-olds to 50-year-olds are throwing away wealth is, not investing in their physical and mental health. And I get it. Oh my goodness, do I get it. That in this time we're in right now, you're probably working longer and harder and under probably not the most fun circumstances. I get it. It's not fun right now. The next thing that I consider, wealth destroying is overspending without some kind of financial buffer. Again, just like racking up the credit card, it happens so easily. It's just amazing. It's like and all this money on my credit card. I've spent my savings. I've encashed all my investments. Life happens. The car goes, the refrigerator goes, washing machine, and it's like, wow. So I would, say that in this time where throwing away wealth is usually driven by emotional means, I just want to say that in my coaching career, anxiety, reckless spending, lack of self-control lack of motivation to achieve goals are just some of the issues that clients face and really got to get control. Now, what I'm happy to say is just, really based on feedback, we're able to create a free 21-day challenge to supercharge your investment returns. Now, I really want to jump in now and say to the persons who are in forex trading, swing trading, selling options and some real exotic investments that are supposed to, take you to 1,000% return. That's not what this is about. We're talking to people who are in 18 to 50 and who want, bite-sized actionable steps that will help them to supercharge their investment returns. It's really important for you to take 21 days and make the habit and do these small steps, and you'd be surprised how much money you're leaving on the table. Now, here's the deal. The 21-day training, it's free. We have a YouTube channel that's also free. We interview some really awesome experts. So we really have a package for you to get the support you need. You can also join our free private financially focused on wealth Facebook group and interact with the people in this growing community who are interested in building and buying assets that create long-term wealth. So, we have 3 platforms for you to reach out and get support if you feel like you're throwing away wealth and your money is galloping away and you don't have control.
For more information on the development of your financial future, head on over to financiallyfocusedmedia.com or find Denise on YouTube at Financially Focused. That does it for the Friday edition of the Business Report on PBCJ. I'm Gabrielle Thompson.
In regional news, several youth leaders in Trinidad and Tobago are demanding that government act on behalf of citizens and regularize the use of pepper spray for women. The comment comes just days after Agriculture Minister Clarence Rambarat warned in Parliament that although it was being considered by the National Security Council, it could be deadlier than a firearm in the wrong hands. Sunil Lala reports.
Former Independent Senator Nikolai Edwards rallied several youth advocates calling for the protection of women to be given a priority. He claims that while the country is reeling from the recent murder of Andrea Barrett, a tit-for-tat is playing out in the parliament as to who is responsible for crime. Mr. Edwards is demanding an end to party politics and wants both the PNM and UNC to work together to ensure women once again feel safe in this country. He also wants government to accede to the request from women to be given pepper spray to have a fighting chance of survival.
And if it is found that these tools may also pose a threat to women themselves, then we need to properly regulate its use. But to leave it in abeyance is saying to women that you simply do not care.
Mr. Edwards was also critical of the opposition for wasting parliamentary time by bringing a motion of no confidence against National Security Minister Stuart Young.
The opposition knew fully well that that motion would have been defeated because they do not have the majority for that motion to pass. But instead, the opposition chose to waste our parliamentary time to debate a matter that for many citizens is an abject thought.
Meanwhile, Ariel Saunders, who unsuccessfully contested a Hindustan St. Mary's seat in January's local government by-election, criticized both the government and opposition for continuing to play politics while the nation grieves.
In our darkest hour, the 41 members of parliament whom we have entrusted and elected to represent us and make the necessary legislative changes continue to play games, scoring cheap political points. But on this occasion, they will not be let off that easily.
Both men believe the current crime situation needs strong leadership from both government and opposition and urge for unity in the parliament.
Must we continue to be unified in nothing but our grief?
Sonolala, TTT News.
In St. Lucia, violence against women and children during the COVID-19 pandemic has become a silent war waged on the most vulnerable across the island. As many countries scale back on activities and issue stay-at-home orders and lockdowns, fears continue to mount that those who may be at risk prior to the pandemic may be in grave danger now.
We are a society that is terrorizing our women, and that must stop. That must stop. And I do not know, there are a lot of women here, or there are a number of women here, and I am not one of you, but I'm sure you feel it. I'm sure you feel it.
Former chair of Rise St. Lucia, Dr. Stephen King, is tackling the issue of gender-based and domestic violence. 2 women were killed in St. Lucia in the month of January 2021. Lucienne Monlouis was found dead at her Tiroche residence with apparent marks of violence about her body. The other victim is a young female whose badly maimed body was discovered at the Pigeon Island Causeway and has yet to be officially identified through forensic tests despite possible circumstantial evidence.
I remember Stephanie just recently, Andrea down in Trinidad, Giselle, Trisha, Donna, Valerie, Yana are women. I remember these women. Young women killed by a society, I want to say. We say by a perpetrator. Who is the perpetrator? The silent conspirators who see what is wrong in the society, know what has to be done to nurture people properly, the marginalized people that we label and discard or ignore and do not put what is right in place, therefore perpetuating the dysfunction, the violence, etc. in the society.
Children, women, and older people are at higher risk of domestic abuse, especially during this period of restricted movement. However, the scale of brutality in St. Lucia, activists argue, goes beyond the pressures of the pandemic, with a history replete with countless examples of lives lost and justice delayed and denied. Advocates continue to exhort public officials to strengthen institutions, rid the system of dysfunction, and work to ensure a legal and regulatory framework with proper oversight to better protect victims, preempt tragic endings, and land convictions in court. Solange Alfred, HTS News Force.
In sports, Tokyo Olympics chief Yoshiro Mori resigned on Friday, bowing to mounting pressure over sexist remarks he made recently. His departure leaves a leadership vacuum after opposition emerged to his favored successor. The controversy over Mori's comments has been an unwanted additional headache for organizers already struggling to win over skeptical public less than 6 months before the games open. After a 2-hour meeting, Tokyo 2020 organizers said they will form a committee with a 50-50 gender mix to select Mori's replacement. The 83-year-old claimed last week that women speak too much in meetings, prompting outrage from officials, sports stars, and Olympic sponsors. On Friday, he announced he would step down. Mori's resignation caps over a week of uproar after he told Japan's Olympic Committee that the women have difficulty speaking concisely, quote, which is annoying, end quote. He apologized, but then defended his remarks and told reporters, quote, I don't speak to women much, end quote. Several hundred Olympic volunteers have withdrawn in the wake of his comments, and a petition calling for action against him gathered nearly 150,000 signatures. On Friday, Mori said he does not, quote, look down on women, end quote, and had supported the 7 women on the 35-member Tokyo 2020 board. And that's the news. Thanks so much for making it PBCJ. We are the People's Station.